the Whispering River. The village of Adama sat quietly between two hills, its lifeline flowing through the sacred river that curved around its edge. To outsiders, it was just water. To the people of Adama, it was memory. They called it Nsaya, the one who listens. The elders believed it could hear truth and hold on to lies. It wasn't superstition. It was history. Generations had lived and died by the river's rhythm, and no one spoke near it without intention. Kweku was 12, sharp-minded, restless. He didn't fear the river, he was fascinated by it. While others approached with reverence, Kweku lingered at its edge, skipping stones and watching the ripples move like whispers across the surface. His grandmother, Mama Esai, warned him often. Each morning, the village moved in harmony with Nsaya. Women fetched water in silence. Hunters washed before entering the forest. Children greeted the river before play. It was more than tradition, it was respect. But Kweku felt something different. A pull, presence, like the river knew him, like it was waiting. One evening, as the sky turned amber and the air grew still, Kweku sat alone by the bank. He leaned forward and whispered. He didn't know it yet, but the river had begun listening. The first lie. The sun rose over Adama with quiet confidence, casting long shadows across the river's edge. Children gathered early, their laughter echoing through the reeds. It was the hour before chores, the only time they were truly free. Kweku stood among them, holding a fishing line he hadn't used and a story he hadn't earned. "I caught a catfish this morning," he said, arms wide. "It nearly pulled me in." The boys leaned in. Catfish were rare this season. To catch one alone was impressive. Kweku's voice was steady. His eyes held conviction. They believed him. Praise followed. Admiration. A new nickname, Kweku the Brave. But the river didn't move. Normally, it shimmered when the children played. Today, it was still. Too still. Kweku noticed. No breeze. No current. No sound. It was as if the river had paused to listen. Later that day, Mama Esai called him to shell beans. Her hands worked quietly. Her voice didn't rise. "I heard you caught a catfish," she said.
Kweku hesitated.
"Yes, Mama." She nodded. Strange. The river didn't say so. He looked up. The river. She met his eyes. When it's quiet, it's remembering. That night, Kweku returned to the river alone. The moon hung low. The water was glass. "I didn't mean anything by it," he whispered. The river didn't reply, but a single ripple moved outward, slow, deliberate. Kweku felt it. The river had heard him, and it had remembered. The pattern. The lie didn't stay small. After the catfish story, Kweku noticed something. People listened more. They laughed louder. They looked at him differently, and he liked it, so he kept going. He lied to avoid chores, lied to win games, lied to gain respect. Each time, the lie came easier. Each time, the river grew quieter. One morning, he told Kojo that the village chief had praised him for bravery. Kojo believed him. By midday, the story had spread. Kweku was celebrated again. But when he passed the chief's hut, the old man didn't smile. He didn't speak. He simply stared. That night, the river didn't shimmer. Sat still, no current, no breeze, no sound. Just silence.
Mama esinotiched.
"The river's gone quiet again," she said. "It's listening too much." Kweku looked up. Listening to what? She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The next day, Kweku lied to avoid helping with the harvest. He He claimed he was sick, but he was seen playing by the river. The elders said nothing. The river said less. That evening, a brief storm rolled in sharp, unexpected. It soaked the village, then passed. The river swelled slightly, then receded. Mama Esi stood at the doorway watching the water. "It's not angry," she said. "It's warning us." Kweku felt it too. A shift, not in the river but in himself. He began to notice the weight of his words, how they lingered, how they changed things, how they made him feel hollow. But the praise didn't stop, and neither did the lies. He told stories to impress, to escape, to control, and each time the river grew quieter. It wasn't punishing him, it was waiting. The big lie. Kweku's stories had grown louder, bigger, bolder. What started as small exaggerations had become declarations crafted not to reflect truth, but to command attention. At the Festival of Courage, the village gathered to honor bravery and integrity. Lanterns floated on the river. Elders shared stories. Children danced. The air was thick with tradition. Kweku stood at the center, confident and rehearsed. "I am honest," he said. "I am kind. I am brave." The crowd applauded. The chief nodded. Mama Esi watched in silence. But the river didn't move. Kweku stepped closer to the water. "I've earned your respect," he continued. "I've lived with courage." He knew it wasn't true, but he wanted it to be. Then the wind stopped. The lanterns froze. The current stilled, and the river began to rise. Not in anger, in revelation. Water crept over the banks, soaking the festival grounds. The crowd stepped back. The elders stood firm. Mama Esi closed her eyes. Floating in the water were fragments of truth. A broken fishing line, a half-shelled basket, a torn letter, a child's toy, each one tied to a lie Kweku had told, each one undeniable. The village saw, and Kweku saw himself. He didn't run. He didn't speak. He stood in silence, surrounded by the evidence of his own deception. The river wasn't punishing him. It was revealing him. And for the first time, Kweku felt the full weight of his words. The confrontation. The morning after the flood, Adama was silent. Not the silence of peace, but of truth exposed. Lanterns lay scattered. Mud streaked the festival grounds. The river had receded, but its message remained. Visible, undeniable. Kweku walked through the village, soaked in shame. Eyes followed him, not with anger, but with clarity. The chief called a gathering. The villagers formed a circle by the riverbank.
No drums, no chants.
Just stillness. Kweku stood in the center. "You lied," the chief said. "Not once, not twice. You made it a habit." And the river responded. Kweku opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Mama Esi stood among the elders. Her silence was louder than any accusation. Kojo stepped forward. "You said the chief praised you. I believed you. I defended you." Another voice. "You said you were sick. We carried your chores. You played by the river." Each word was a mirror. Each sentence stripped away the illusion. "The river didn't punish you," the chief said. "It revealed you. Now we decide what comes next." Kweku finally spoke. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone." The chief nodded. "Intent doesn't erase impact." "I wanted to be more than I was," Kweku said. Mama Esi stepped forward. "Then start by being honest." No one moved. No one shouted. The silence was the judgment. Kweku stood in it, fully. Finally, he didn't run. He didn't argue. He listened. And for the first time, he understood what it meant to be seen. Not for who he pretended to be, but for who he truly was. The river's vision. Kweku didn't sleep. The village had returned to its rhythm, but he hadn't. The silence from the confrontation lingered. No one had cast him out. No one had shouted. But the weight of being seen without disguise was heavier than punishment. At dawn, he returned to the river. The water was still, present, watching. Kweku sat at the edge. "I didn't know it would go this far," he said quietly. The river didn't respond, but the current shifted, slow, deliberate. The surface shimmered, and Kweku saw. He saw the lie about the catfish, the pride, the doubt. He saw Kojo defending him, then shrinking when the truth surfaced. He saw Mama ESI watching silently, knowing more than she ever said. Then the river showed him what could have been. A version of himself that chose truth, that earned respect slowly, that stood beside others, not above them. The vision faded. Kweku blinked. The river was still again, but something had changed. He didn't feel ashamed. He felt responsible. He stood, brushed the dirt from his clothes, and bowed. Not out of fear, but out of understanding. "I see it now," he said. "I see me." The river rippled once, then stilled. It had shown him not just what he'd done, but who he could become. The confession. Kweku returned to the village at sunrise.
No ceremony.
No defense. Just quiet steps and a decision made by the river. The elders were gathered near the square. Children swept the festival grounds. Life had resumed, but something still lingered. Kweku stepped forward. "I have something to say," he said. The chief looked up.
Mama esipozad.
Kojo stood still. "I lied," Kweku said. "About the fish, about the praise, about the things I didn't do. I lied because I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be more than I was." No one interrupted. "I didn't think it mattered, but it did. I hurt people. I broke trust. I made others carry my weight." He turned to Kojo. "I used your loyalty to Mama ESI. I ignored your wisdom to the chief. I disrespected your silence." Then to the crowd.
"I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior.
He could stand behind. Slowly, the village began to trust him again. One evening, under the same sky where his lies once floated, Kweku sat by the river with children gathered at his feet. They asked for a story. He didn't tell them about catfish or praise he hadn't earned. He told them the truth. "I once lied to this river," he said. "I thought if people believed me, I'd become what I pretended to be." The children listened. "But the river doesn't care about performance," he continued. "It listens. It remembers. And one day, it showed me who I really was." He paused.